Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And I do apologize for being late. Let me explain to you what 5 kids means, because I've learned tonight what 5 children actually means. It means when you have an hour and 10 minutes to watch a show that is 50 minutes long, that it will take you an hour and 13 minutes. That's just my evening. Because children will not stop coming in and interrupting a TV show. So I apologize for the delay. Thank you for joining me on a Saturday evening for some DSP phone call action. Oh my. I have not listened to this call, so I will be reacting live to it. That's taking it in as if I were DSP's attorney, so to speak, right? And I have heard it's a disaster, that there are a lot of people on the call. Of course, this is an interesting sort of thing. DSP gets this weird break with the coronavirus. This weird break with the coronavirus, where his bankruptcy, the foreclosure on his second property is ostensibly delayed. Lots of his payments are potentially delayed, including the mortgage on his main house. But people think he's gotten kind of a break because of the coronavirus. But the bankruptcy put a stay in place on most of this stuff already. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know how much benefit he's getting out of it. But I can tell you one thing that did not go well for him, and that's the way this meeting got rescheduled. This meeting being rescheduled to a group phone call, a conference call, and having the number published and filed, and then having just literally anybody in the world able to go. And in theory, anybody would have been able to go to the actual hearing. You could have. It's just a little bit different if you have to go into the courthouse where DSP is having the hearing, rather than just pick up a phone in your underwear at home, right? So it's harder to throw people off of a phone call. It's harder to hold people in contempt of a courtroom that they're not in when you can't actually identify who they are. So in a way, this was a poor break for old Phil. So I would not want this for me if I was in bankruptcy. I did not call in. I was not on the call. As an officer of the court, there are certain actions that I must take a little bit more caution with. If I were to call in and somehow even accidentally disrupt the call, that would potentially raise some ethical or disciplinary actions for me. Not likely, but possible. And that's just something I don't need. I had a strong suspicion other people would record the call, and lo and behold, they did. Lo and behold, they did. So we will have to go ahead and see how this goes. If you're not familiar with how my live streams go, because I know not everybody who's interested in the DSP case would necessarily be someone who follows my channel. How I do recorded things that I'm observing is we'll just play through it, and I will pause and comment when I find something relevant or if I have to laugh. Also, how super chats work on my channel is if they are $20 or more, I will do them basically right away. And we've got a couple in the chamber to go ahead and deal with right now. If they are below $20, what I will do to allow for the flow of the show to continue is I will push them off until later. So if there's something in particular that you really want to address at a specific time, you have the option of doing it. I will read all of them at the end. So just laying that out there, because sometimes I don't like people to be confused about how it works. Like, hey, you didn't read my chat. It's like, well, I will get there. But so that's how that goes. There is no obligation to do anything with that. That's just, I don't want people to be in a false sense of how this works. So with that, we'll see how long we go tonight. I believe the recorded call is about 40 or 50 minutes long. Let me see. Someone sent me a recording of it rather than having to go to YouTube, I believe. But I also have the YouTube that way. So just give me a moment. Where are we? Audio from D. Oh, this is you. Okay. Well, we are here. I'll crank it up so you guys can hear it as well. If you are new to the show, welcome. Welcome to the show. Very happy to have you. Don't believe there will be anything on the actual YouTube video. Probably just a still frame. If there is, I can switch over so you guys can see it. But I'm thinking that we're mostly interested in audio here. So let me say this just to get some audio testing just to make sure. Oh, this is riveting. Riveting radio right here. Just waiting for the audio to start so we know. So I've got it queued up, so to speak. This is how court works. If you're wondering, if you've never had the pleasure of going to court or doing a phone hearing, this is how it goes. You call in.
Yeah, the next matter is Philip Burnell.
Oh, perfect. There we go. I hope you guys could hear that. You call in, you show up, whatever you're going to do, and then you just sit there and wait like a schlub. If you're late, they hate you for it. They're late all the time. You may be sitting there for 2 hours waiting for your 12-minute hearing. All right. So I'll back this up just 5 seconds so we get that initial audio. Let me address the 3 super chats that are pending right now. Razor says, if you think the DSP tries it, cup noodles is weird. The DSP tries it, Axe Body Scrubber takes the prize. Also, a shout out to my favorite This Is How You Don't Play channel, Sons of Kojima. I miss you. Thank you, Razor, for that. Eric89074 said, rip the detractors, rip T. Greg's practice, his lawsuit, and his GoFundMe. Hope Randazza has a good payment plan. Thanks for all your streams. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Ramon Franco says, missed Emish. We won't forget Kamea-Con staging ground for Vic coming back. Otherwise, right now, Vic would be in the Corona-Chan era with $0. Just go away for a year, they said. It'll be fine, they said. Oh, yeah. That's my favorite lie of all of this. Just leave, and we'll love you when you come back. Blazed DMP says, thoughts and prayers for Mid-South area Jonesboro, Arizona. No, wait, Arkansas. Got hit pretty hard by a big tornado and just missed, I hope you're saying, my house by like 11 miles. Hey, buddy. I'm glad that you are alive and on here. That probably means that you're doing pretty much okay. But hope everybody in your community is doing okay. Pour a little bit of whiskey here. Because you can't do something like this without whiskey, right? We got to have a little bit of sauce to get the motor running. We'll probably switch to some rum after this. Haven't had rum in a while. Oh. And then finally, LightSydePhil. Oh, is that an arch nemesis? I hope. Big ups, Rekieta Media. Thank you so much for taking your time to do this. Everyone in chat, give him some hands, prayers, maybe. By the way, $20 more in tips, and Rekieta will put on the vest. What vest? I don't think that's true. What vest are you talking about? I don't I don't usually wear vests. All right, guys, let's it's probably a DSP joke. I am like the worst on DSP lore. So all of the inside jokes and stuff, I don't understand them. But you can always make me say them and make fun of me. I'm for that. And I love learning about this guy. Like, some people in my Discord have been telling me about him, and it sounds great. And I saw it scroll by in the chat earlier. Would I have DSP on the show? 100%. 100% I would have DSP on the show. If he comes on this show, I might question his judgment, but I would definitely have him on. I would love to talk to him about this stuff. So, find a vest. I mean, I have a vest somewhere. I have a 3-piece, but yeah, I mean, if any of you guys know DSP or watch his streams and get some interaction with him, I would certainly be willing to have him on. I guess I'm not a detractor. I don't know much of anything about him. Here we go. Let's get into this. Let's get into this hearing.
Okay, the next matter is Philip Burnell.
This is Rochelle Sheffield for the debtor, and Philip Burnell is with me.
He's in your office with you?
Yes.
Hey, Mr. Burnell, you there?
I am present.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I'm trying to not stop this every 2 seconds, but some people sound a certain way when they stream and when they're doing stuff, and then some people, and they sound the exact same in real life, and then other people kind of put it on, right, for the show. And like, I think if I probably project more when I'm doing this, because I want to make sure the mic is picking me up, and I don't talk so animated when I'm talking with someone, because it's a little more intimate, right? He sounds the same. Present. All right, here we go.
Mr. Burnell, would you raise your right hand?
Yes.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Oh boy.
What's your full name, please?
Philip Paul Burnell.
Is your address still the same as the address on the petition?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? It cut out.
It did not cut out. It didn't cut out at all. What is she talking about? Also, I love it. Like, you're on the phone with someone, presumably from anywhere on Earth. Raise your right hand. Yeah, sure.
Your address still the same as the address on your petition?
Yes, it is.
Did you prepare and file with the bankruptcy court a list of all of your assets and all of your liabilities?
Yes.
Yes, to the best of my knowledge. Yes, to the best of my knowledge. You never know if you've forgot something. You missed something. There's an asset out there. Yes, to the best of my knowledge. Just add that. Helpful. Helpful.
Are those documents, including the petition, the schedules, and the statement of financial affairs, true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Are there any changes that need to be made?
No.
Before you filed these documents, did you read them?
Yes.
Sign them? Sign these documents?
Yes.
These aren't hard questions. I'm pressing X to doubt on that nothing needs to be changed. Now, caveat, the person on the phone did say to the best of your knowledge. But there are definitely things on those documents that need to be changed. Again, not even knowing anything about Phil, there are issues with them. But I think his answer there is okay.
Received a copy of the bankruptcy information sheet.
Yes.
Read that document?
Yes.
You ever filed for bankruptcy before?
No.
No.
Are you required to make any domestic support payments to anyone?
No.
Tax return you provided to me, is that a true and correct copy?
Yes.
Now, I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe I've seen a tax return from Phil. That might have been filed. I'm checking the filing real quick. That might have been filed confidentially because of the sensitive nature of the information on it. That would not be strange at all. It would actually be kind of strange for him to file it publicly because it's going to have social security number unless it was properly redacted. I don't remember seeing a tax return. See. Oh, hey, what's up, Yellow Flash? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, Ryan Rockwell, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so it's not publicly filed. I didn't think so. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, back to it.
Are you still self-employed?
Yes.
What is that self-employment?
The company's name is Burnell Productions. It is internet content creation of on-demand and also live video streaming services.
I mean, why are you explaining it this way in such a weird way to the court? Like, what video streaming and production services do you provide, Phil? You don't do that. You make a show. Just say I make a show on YouTube and Twitch or whatever. That's it. It's not like I'm hiring Phil Brunel to run a video production service. Weird. I make a show. It's great.
Find that again, please.
Sure. It's internet content creation of on-demand video and also live streaming video services.
Like a sex worker.
Here, pauses. It's just because I'm making notes there.
Okay.
There's someone really, really faint talking in the background. I don't know if that's on the call or if that's in the background of the person recording. So I'm not sure what that is, but if you guys, I can hear it. I assume you guys can too, but just so you know, I'm not sure if that's actually part of the call or if that's from the guy doing the YouTube video.
I'm going to start basically at the beginning of your schedules and just kind of work through them. The first thing you have listed here is real property in Connecticut, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
When did you purchase this property?
Ooh, okay. I want to say it was...
You don't have the damn document sitting in front of you? I want to say it was. Is it? It's right. Okay. I mean... it's... let me pull up the document. Oh, that's not the initial. Hold on. Volunteer. All right. Come on. Okay, so the first thing on your schedule is this Connecticut property, which is... Let's see. Actually, well, okay. Here we go. Isn't it on here when he purchased it? Maybe not. Maybe that. Okay, that's not on here. Never mind. Sorry. I'm being unfair. I'm being unfair to Phil, and that's very rude. Although I think it's in the motion that the bank had. I should stop being rude to Phil. Although he should have that paperwork in front of him too. That's the cool thing about being on a phone hearing, by the way. When you're at a live hearing, you don't always get to have notes with you when you're being examined or cross-examined. But on a phone hearing, you can have all this stuff sitting in front of you. You can say, oh, here, let me check. But anyway, just to keep yourself from lying, it's a good thing to do.
Roughly July of 2009, I believe.
What was the purchase price?
But he bought this thing after the mortgage industry shut down? All right, I gave him some credit. I thought that he bought this because it's so underwater, right? Like the value of this thing is 60 grand and he owes well over 100 on it. I thought that he bought this thing before the mortgage collapse and that then the property value tanked and that's what set his debt to value so high. Oh my God.
I want to say it was in the $135,000 range. I could be off by a bit there, but I believe that is correct.
Is the property currently rented?
No.
All of my money goes to bills.
Can you repeat that?
Is the property vacant?
It is vacant, yes.
Okay.
Is the property insured?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
To the best of your knowledge, yes. Are you sure, buddy? Are you sure about that one? That was a weird pause. You asked me if my old house is insured. Yes. Yes, it was. Of course. Of course it's insured. Because if it burned down, I'd want to collect. That'd be a travesty.
I have not, made a payment on it in quite some time, but I believe that it's still insured, through the mortgage company. I think they've been paying it.
That's not the same thing. No, Phil. No. Oh.
And when's the last time you made a payment?
I will. It was either April.
Sorry, you cut out. I didn't hear that.
Are you what?
When was the last mortgage payment made on the Connecticut property?
I have the motion for relief if you want me to look at that and find the exact date.
No, I just want his recollection.
Good attorney. Good attorney. It's a good attorney that Phil has. Like, I'm serious. That's not a criticism. Let me bail him out. He doesn't know the date he made the payment. I can pull it up. They're gonna have the info.
Oh, okay.
Do you recall when you made the last payment?
No, I don't.
April or May of 2019. I believe it was probably April.
Don't know. Don't know.
You also list real property in Renton, is that correct?
That's correct.
When did you purchase that?
That was purchased in June of 2014.
What was the purchase price?
I believe that was $265,000.
You lived there since you purchased it?
Yes, I have lived there since I purchased it.
What's the
Are
beeping?
the mortgage payments current on this property?
Yes.
Anyone know what that beeping is?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm hearing a beeping. Are you hearing it on your end?
I'm hearing it too, but I don't know.
No idea what that might be. We'll hope it goes away.
Oh boy.
Is the property insured?
If this attorney knows anything about DSP at this point, she just got real nervous, right? Because you heard earlier the soundboard of "all my money goes to bills" or whatever. Like, you heard that, and they all just pretended that didn't happen. I would be surprised if the attorney knows anything about DSP, had probably warned the court that there may be some shenanigans on the phone call. I would call the clerk. I'd say, look, this case has gone public. My client is a semi-public figure, but most importantly, there are people who they're detractors. Just call them detractors to the court. Endear the court and say they may call and try some nonsense. I'm so sorry. There's nothing we can do about that. Just do that. That'd be the easy way. The court may have even accommodated all the parties by allowing them to change numbers or set up a new meeting that was kept private just for the sake of the hearing. Maybe. I don't know if it would have worked, but they could have at least tried. Maybe she did. But if she knows anything about DSP, this has got to make her nervous already.
Insured?
Oh, hold on. Let me go back for that.
Is the property insured?
Yeah.
And is this a house or a condo? Burnell, is this a house or a condo?
Answer the question, Phil!
Hello?
Hello?
Burnell?
This is again to Phil's advantage. If this is a courtroom, the judge would be, answer the question. Just answer the question. This isn't hard. House or condo? I don't understand. Do you not understand the difference? Like, do you need to define it? Do you want to just say anything?
Phil, are you there?
The hell are they doing?
Nancy?
Yes?
Sorry, there's 60 people on the line for this call. So I think that's the problem.
No, it's not the problem, though. That's not a problem because you're still hearing her ask the questions and Phil can still answer. No one's actually talking at this point. Oh, God. Oh.
But we're back on.
Okay. Drop out and then...
But I don't that beeping's coming from.
Okay. Well, let's try and just keep going.
That beep probably happens every time someone calls in or something.
So, Mr. Burnell, my question was, is this a house or a condo?
It is a condo.
It's a $400,000 condo? Or no, wait, not 400,000. Sorry, 245,000. Never mind. I was combining the two debt numbers in my head. $345,000 though. He wrote down 345,000, 380,000 on Zillow. Better be a nice ass condo.
You answer the question whether or not you have electronics, you say no. Is that a correct answer?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Your schedules indicate you have no electronics. Is that correct?
No electronics. Are you speaking of in regards to the business or in regards to my personal belongings?
Well, this is your personal bankruptcy. So
There are electronics that are considered business assets, and then personal electronics would be in the household goods and furnishings.
Hold on 1 second here. Now this is the initial filing. I didn't pull up the amended one. In the amended one, he still doesn't list anything. I want to indulge me first, guys. So there's the home, Toyota Corolla, household goods and furnishings, $3,000. Although it specifically says electronics. So why are you filling out that there are electronics in the miscellaneous household goods and furnishings? They have a list of electronics here. It's a non-exhaustive list, but it is a list, and they say no. So that would mean that under oath, he has said he doesn't own any of these things. But here's the next problem with this, right? Where are we? Doesn't he have... Okay, let's see here. Trust, equitable future interests. This is tax refunds, family support, other amounts, interest and insurance policy, property from someone who died, claims against third parties, contingent on liquid financial assets, business assets, $1,500. That's it, though. Just the $1,500. Do you have any legal or equitable interest in any business-related property? No. Okay. Don't we have... He says no there. Homestead exemption. Claims secured. Unsecured creditors. They ask him a question about his business ownership in just a second. That's what we're going for here. No. Co-debtors, no. Employment. They list employed, self-employed, content creator. All right. Details about monthly income. Okay, so he just didn't write down wages, overtime pay, no gross income. All right. I guess. No payroll deductions, just interest and dividends. No. Net income from rental property and from operating a business, profession, or farm. Let's see. Expenses. Where was it? Yeah. He's got this ridiculous thing. Sources of income. Employment or from operating a business. Yes. Operating a business. Operating a business. Gross income. Here we go. Any other income? No. Primary consumer debts. Let's see. He had one question where he says he doesn't own any, or he doesn't have a sole proprietorship. Does he list his ownership of the LLC? Like, that's an asset, by the way. Whatever his business is worth, I think he answers the question wrong on whether he has an equitable interest in business property, because he owns the business, so he has an equitable interest in the property. He has a comparable value of ownership to whatever he's invested into his business. Sorry, I know I'm lawyering and I shouldn't do that. Let's get.
I just kind of lump them together.
Wait, what?
All electronics would be in the household goods and furnishings section. I just kind of lump them together.
Why? That was his lawyer.
Okay, so let me go through some assets that some of your creditors have told me that you might own. And if you could tell me if they're personal or business, and if you still have them. You have a PlayStation 4 Pro system.
Wait a minute. I gotta repeat that.
That's correct.
If you could tell me if they're personal assets.
Here we go.
Okay, so let me go through some assets that some of your creditors have told me that you might own.
Oh,
and
no.
If you could tell me if they're personal or business, and if you still have them. You have a PlayStation 4 Pro system.
That's correct. That is business related, and I do still have it.
Okay. About a standard PlayStation 4.
That is, I still own it. It is business related.
$400 at least right now, right there.
PlayStation 3.
Yep, that is business related. I still have it.
$500.
Nintendo Wii.
Business related.
600.
Nintendo Wii U.
Yes, business related. I do still own it.
610. I'm just kidding.
Nintendo
$700.
Switch.
Yes, business related, and I do still own it.
Oh, $900.
Xbox 360.
Yes, Xbox 360, business related. I do still own it.
At least 1,000.
Nintendo 3DS.
Yes, business related, and I do still own that.
1,100.
PlayStation Vita.
Yes, I do still own the PlayStation Vita, and it is business related, and I do still own it. Yes.
Notice he's saying he still owns it. It's business related, but he owns it. That's not the same thing as your business owning the property. Actually, those are actually different things. Your business owning something is not you owning it. He's tacitly admitting right now that he has at least an equitable ownership in business property, right? Because of course he does. Of course he does. He's the sole proprietor of this company. He's the sole owner. He doesn't have investors or shareholders that he has to sell his Vita and give 8 cents to each one. It's his. So he's just admitting over and over that he has misrepresented his assets under oath on the documents here. We're up at least $1,200, and I'm being pretty conservative, just pricing older systems at about $100 a piece. So it's whew.
PlayStation Virtual Reality.
Yes, I do still own the PlayStation Virtual Reality, and it is business related.
1,300, 1,400, something like that now.
You have a computer. Whoever's making the beeping sound, if you please stop. You have a computer?
I do have a business related computer. Yes.
Okay.
Home computer?
I'm sorry. Could you?
Home computer.
Oh no, I do not have a home related computer. No, it's just a business related computer.
Business related, and again, business owned are two different things. And if he's trying to, if you're trying to represent that your computer is a business expense, it has to be used almost exclusively. I believe the law actually says exclusively for business purposes. Nothing else. So good luck.
You have an iPad?
I do. It is very old and not functional.
Doesn't matter. They'll own it.
Hey, explain to me how you decide if it's business related or your personal property.
Sure. Anything that I say is business related is used solely for the purpose of my internet video content creation or my live streaming. I broadcast video games all day, 6 days a week, and so everything that I just listed is used as a device to broadcast gaming.
Okay. Who purchases the various gaming pieces?
I do.
Uh-oh.
Personally?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Does the business...
No. No, Phil, take a moment. Listen to how you're answering that question. No, I do, personally. No, you don't. Your business does. Your business must purchase them. Oh, Phil, if you're a sole proprietorship, it's okay if you're the guy actually doing the purchasing. You don't think you have a purchasing department. But be clear that the business is actually buying it.
Does this have a separate business bank account?
No.
Gonna be hard to trace all those funds.
Does the business file its own tax return?
I'm not sure how.
Well, it looks like they are. Do you file a separate tax return for the business, or is it all in your personal?
I just do one tax return, so it must be
Okay.
my personal, yes.
That's gonna be really hard to prove that those are separate. Oh. Oh, man. It's going to be interesting.
So your business is included on your personal tax return?
Yes.
You can do that with a sole proprietorship. That is fine.
Do you own or have any access to any online gaming packages?
Oh, sorry. Brosna, my man, says, I lost my job to Corona-chan, so I instinctively canceled all of my monthly subscriptions and budgeted. Now Patreon isn't allowing me to repledge on your page. This is only happening on your page. I went to new project too. Oh. Thank you. Make sure you send me an email or something through new project too, and I can get you back on the Discord, buddy. I don't know why Patreon is doing that, but maybe they hate something. And someone mentioned that most people file one tax return for their small businesses. I know that's perfectly fine to do that, and you don't necessarily have to have a separate checking account. It's just going to make it really difficult when you're potentially lying under oath about the ownership of your property to claim that it was small business property exclusively when you bought it from a personal account, and it's kind of looks like recreational equipment, and it just happens to be entirely incidental to exempting all of your property from creditors. Like, that combination of things is the problem. How he did it isn't necessarily a problem for your normal person who's not in the middle of filing bankruptcy and who doesn't have such a blurred course of business. So that's why I'm bringing that up.
If you mean like subscription-based gaming services, yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And tell me how those work as far as ownership.
How does that work as far as ownership? Was that the question?
Yes.
They're all personally in my name, connected with my own personal online accounts, and they are all business related in order to play video games online. Many of these services are required in order to actually play games in a multiplayer capacity.
How many subscriptions do you have?
Off the top of my head, I would say at least 3. I know that there's one for Nintendo, there's one for Xbox, and there's one for PlayStation. There may be more if I actually were to, dive deep, but I believe those are the 3 main ones.
How much does each of them cost?
Oh, man. This is just an estimate. I would assume each one roughly costs around $50 a year.
Wrong.
There, because I don't have the information in front of me, but I certainly could, break that down at a later date.
So they're about $50 a year?
Yeah, that's what I would estimate, yes.
Oh, please.
Okay.
Originally, you listed only one bank account with Bank of America. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Then I think you filed an amendment where you listed a PayPal account.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So tell me
PayPal.
how your PayPal account works.
PayPal is an online currency system where people can send funds.
PayPal is an online currency system? No, it's not. It's a payment processor. What is this? Online currency system? What, the currency is US dollars or whatever is domestically available to you. Oh my god. Why? Does he always answer everything in like a complicated way? He sounds, just from the sound of his voice, it sounds like he does. Just a second. Some rum. The amount of yeses I'm being barraged and assaulted with. Thank you. You guys are yes tractors. Oh, God. PayPal is a network of interconnected banking institutions that use a magnetic striped receptacle digitally online to transfer funds from one entity to another in a legal and a monitored capacity. It is reported to the IRS. Okay, sorry.
Digitally, and they're held in a virtual, it's not technically a bank account, but it's a virtual account, which can then be used to make purchases online.
That's a bank account, Phil.
There's a debit card system.
Hold up. Hold up 1 second. What? Come here, lady. Come here. 1 second, guys. I apologize. I got dad detail for just a moment. Got owie? Go to sleep. You're welcome. Not your... There you go. Go to sleep right now. I love you. Make sure you close my door, lady. All right. So, hold up. Okay? Hold up. The PayPal is not a bank. What it is an account that holds money and lets you lets you make purchases and has a debit card system that's available to it. It's not a bank, though. Trust me, this is not a bank account. It's not in any way a bank account.
The way it works is as I am creating content, people willingly decide whether or not they want to contribute to help me to continue to create content. Some people will go to what I call my PayPal tips page online, and they submit funds via my PayPal account in order to contribute to the business.
What did you call that? PayPal what account?
Tips page. That's what I call it.
It's a tips page.
PayPal tips page. It's just an online website address where people can contribute monetary funds over the internet as a way of basically saying, you know,
monetary funds. Why is he like this? Phil, just money. It's a real person on the other end of the phone. They're not a machine or an AI that you're dealing with. This is not the last boss. You're just at a sub boss. You're just at like the clerk or the trustee. That's it. You haven't even encountered the judge yet, buddy.
We like the content you create, and we want you to continue to do it. So here's, you know, some funds to help doing it. Now, in addition to that, I received payment from two different companies. One is called Twitch. The live streaming service company. The other is YouTube, which I'm sure you've probably heard of. That's on-demand video services.
YouTube, I'm sure you've heard of that one.
And in both of those companies, I either upload content or I live stream content, and I make revenue via those services through various methods, advertisements and other kinds of contribution, and they monthly send me a deposit via PayPal for whatever I have earned in that month.
Lie. YouTube does not send you a deposit via PayPal because YouTube would require you to link a bank account through your Google AdSense. So if they're sending you it to your PayPal, then that must be a bank account. Actually, I don't think YouTube functions with PayPal, though. But you know that. What's a little lie among friends?
So that's why there's two PayPal accounts. One is for kind of crowdfunding contributions from people who like what I do. The other is from two actual companies who pay me online for my work.
Okay. So this crowdfunding, would be considered like someone wants to give you a gift and that's how they give it to you?
Uh-oh.
Yes, from my understanding.
At this point, Phil should take a pause. Like, oh, okay, there are always clues, right? When you're having a You're doing an examination or cross-examination. Someone says something and you go, wait a minute, I know that, but how do they know that? Like, look, if someone wants to gift you like a PlayStation, for example, just hypothetically, would they do that through here? Did you buy everything personally, Phil? Do you buy all of that stuff? Does your business buy all that stuff? Are people giving it to your business or are people giving it to you? Those are different things.
From speaking with my tax attorney, a charitable contribution, it would be the same as if someone went to a restaurant and you were a waiter or a waitress or a bartender and did a good job, and someone said, oh, I really like the job you did. So
hold up, what did he just say? Hold up. Sorry, going back. We're going back to tape.
Tax attorney. Yes, from my understanding from speaking with my tax attorney, a charitable contribution, it would be the same as if someone went to a restaurant and you were a waiter or a waitress or a bartender and did a good job, and someone said, oh, I really like the job you did, so they would give the person a tip. So it's the same premise with me. If I'm doing a really good live stream, or if I put out on people really enjoy, they have the completely optional ability.
You're breaking up.
Is this motherfucker? Hold on. He broke up on the tax attorney statement. Is this guy explaining that he believes that a tip is a goodwill donation that is not income, like a charitable contribution or a gift? Because a tip at a restaurant, Phil, is taxable income. Whether or not they report it is a legal issue for the tax reporter. But if you are accepting tips in your tip jar on Patreon or PayPal, if you're accepting tips on PayPal, that is taxable income in the US, Phil. We do not have that as a gifting thing because they're doing it, you just said, because they thought you did a good job, that they are giving you money. That is literally the definition of what separates the gifting from the income. The gifting is not tied to doing a good job or being appreciative of the work someone does. A gift is a free will gift given out of nothing more than generosity and a goodwill towards the person. That's it. Income is, I like the thing you did, here's compensation. No. Oh my God. Phil, don't open yourself up to more tax liability than you already have.
Just repeat what you just said. You just broke up.
Okay. Per my tax attorney, PayPal tips are basically considered like a tip that you would leave at a restaurant. So if you have a good bartender or a good waiter or waitress, you would leave them a tip. That's exactly what my PayPal tips page is. If I'm doing a good live stream for the day, or if I put out on-demand video content that people think is good, they will optionally and willingly send me a tip via my PayPal tips page. That's how it works.
Okay.
I don't know if she's going to ask. I got to pause for a second. I don't know if she's going to ask, but she should follow up with that question. Are you reporting that as income? Are you including that as income? Because that would explain why his income is significantly lower than what he's reporting, right? Or than what people are estimating, right? If he's saying he's only making $5,000 a month in income and he's actually making 8 to 10, but he's just not reporting $3,000 to $5,000 in tips. That is, I mean, bruh, you gonna get audited. I love Adblock says, wow, dude, bug debt mechanics, hashtag not a bank. Samurai Zenji says, charitable contribution, LMAO. Also, the Switch he has is not business related because his wife, Kat, has an account and plays on the Switch, i.e. ARMS and Animal Crossing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he says he has 2 PayPal accounts. Thank you, Broken Sky Animations. One for payments from Twitch and YouTube and one for tips. This guy is seriously counting those as charitable.
I'm looking at the PayPal account that you have sent me. One has Twitch Interactive Incorporated, sends you a check, and then it looks like that same amount goes out, says instant withdraw to debit card. How does that work?
Yes. What it is that it's PayPal account, and then I put it into my bank account via the debit card. It's an instant transfer, so that way I can use it, for bills and other things.
Okay. What is Patreon?
Uh-oh.
Patreon, that is a third-party website where people can pledge a monthly pledge to my Patreon account. It's, again, considered crowdfunding or fundraising.
No, Phil, you get 10.99 on Patreon. What are you doing? No. Oh my God, what's his Patreon? Let's see. $377 a month. So I mean, he's only making a little bit, maybe $4,000 a year. But that's income. That's not. This is not crowdfunding or fundraising. That's income. It's 10.99 by Patreon. I think you may have to make $12,000 a year for Patreon to send you a 10.99, but it's still 10.99 income. Oh my God. No, Phil. Oh, what do we got? See if I can find the answer to that real quick. I'm not going to find that real as quick. I believe that's the terms. If you have to make like 10 grand or more on Patreon per year, and then they 10.99 it to you, but it's still 10.99 income. It's still reportable. Oh boy.
You can find it at patreon.com. That's the website that I use. And it's optional. Again, if people like the content that I'm putting out, they can pledge some money to my Patreon as a monthly subscription service to me every month.
Okay, what is WWE Network?
Okay. I'm good.
Can you repeat that, please?
What is WWE Network?
WWE
Oh,
Network.
WWE Network. That is just an on-demand video service for watching, professional wrestling. That is not business related.
Okay.
Is that all, Phil? Is that all it is? JCF Data says his bankruptcy app, I think you mean attorney, is very shady, but he said not when he broke up and he knows the tips are taxable like the waiter or bartender. I don't know. Are you sure on that? I don't know, man.
You've provided me a copy of your PayPal account for 1 month. I would like to see the last 6 months of both of your PayPal statements.
Whoops.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What's gonna happen?
Oh, I thought that was Phil himself.
What's the problem?
You want the 6 months of both PayPals?
Yes.
Okay, I think I have that. Actually,
You do?
you just. I wasn't sure you needed all of that, but I'll send that over.
Of course
Yeah,
they do.
oftentimes I don't, as you know, but this one I want to see the last 6 months.
Oh no. Again, the red flags, man. Oftentimes I don't, but this one, I want to see the last 6 months. Oh, shit. No. Oh, Phil. Oh, boy.
You indicate that you have a business of Brunel Productions, is that correct?
That is correct.
And is this considered a corporation or a sole proprietorship? What is it?
I believe it's a sole proprietorship.
Better be. All right, just a second. Some dude says, "Hey, Nick, please read this twice. Anyone in the following states: Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Arizona, Iowa, Michigan, Texas. If you're looking for full or part-time work from home, please email me at the email address I'll spam in chat if that's okay, Nick." Yeah, I'm good with it. One more time, anyone in the following states: Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Arizona, Iowa, Michigan, Texas. There's an email from some dude, an email address going up in the chat right now. If you're looking for work during Corona Chan, go ahead and send the email to this guy. I know some of you out there are either furloughed or laid off, so make sure you explore those opportunities if you're in those states. Every game played says, if the WWE network is not business related, what electronic device is he watching it on? We'll see if she figures that out. We'll see if she figures that out. So there you go.
Actually, John, because I think when we filed, we weren't sure.
It's not. I know it's not a corporation. I believe it's sole proprietorship.
Are you entitled to a tax refund for 2019?
Hold on. All right. I found it because someone reminded me I could just press Control F. Within 4 years before you filed bankruptcy, did you own a business or have any of the following connections to a business? A sole proprietor or self-employed in trade? Not checked. Next one. Are you a sole proprietor of any full or part-time business? No. Let's see. Within 1 year before you filed for bankruptcy, did you make a payment on a debt you owed anyone who is an insider? This would be including if you operate as a sole proprietor. So that one's not going to work because he probably doesn't have any insiders included there. But this one, yeah. Within 4 years before you filed for bankruptcy, did you own a business? Have any following connections? Sole proprietor. There it is. Didn't, just left that out. Now he's answering questions about his sole proprietorship. Whoops.
19?
No.
He's not entitled to a tax return because...
You filed 2019? I don't recall which year you sent me.
Have you filed 2009? I sent 2018. Have you filed your 19 yet?
Oh, yes, I have. In fact, I sent the final information within the last week, but my tax attorney notified me that due to this coronavirus situation that everything's being delayed and it's not available yet, but I certainly could provide that, when it is available.
If it's not available, you probably haven't filed it, Phil. You sent it to your tax guy. Is it a tax attorney? Do you file your taxes through a tax attorney or are you filing through an accountant? Does he just think his accountant's a tax attorney? Because my tax attorney doesn't touch my taxes unless the IRS comes knocking, right? Like, that's a different guy. Them two different people. Usually tax attorneys are not collecting $400 to sit and file your taxes. You're paying them much more on a bigger issue than that. Oh my God. And by the way, if you are DSP's accountant and you're telling this asshole that Patreon and his PayPal tips are somehow like a gift and they're or akin to a charitable contribution, or that tips are not taxable, oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing to people? I hope you don't tell waitresses that their tips aren't taxable. Oh. Whew. All right. Okay.
Okay, so when you say you sent it, who did you send it to?
My tax attorney.
Andrew Bryn says, do my taxes, senpai. No way. No way. I don't want that. I don't want that on my head. When people ask me tax questions, I said, ask your accountant. When the IRS calls, then call me. That's my, you get it. For the types of questions I normally get on taxes, it's much cheaper to ask your accountant. It would be very expensive to ask me. And your accountant probably knows the basic answer. If the IRS calls or you need to develop a complex strategy, yeah, then you call it taxes. Lutheran mentioned that he always says his tips are taxable. That's what he says to the streams. I'm not sure that's what he's saying here. And it might not be what he's reporting as income. And that's the scary thing. He could say what he wants to you guys all day. That doesn't mean anything to what he's saying to the government. And there are lots of people out there who go ahead and just underreport what they can underreport. Well, they're just giving me cash through PayPal. I itemize my PayPal, man. Like, I have to go through and keep a list of money in, money out, and catalog what are business expenses and what are personal expenses that come out of my PayPal account. I have to do that. Because that's what you have to do. It's a pain in the ass because PayPal's system for it sucks, but you have to do it. It's required by law. Oh, my God. We're about halfway through the call.
You list business assets of $1,500. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
We went through the list of the various gaming machines that you have. Is that included in your business assets?
Yes.
Yes, it is. That's correct. Did you list the TV, Phil? They didn't talk about the TV.
So it's your testimony then that the business machines that we went through that you indicated were all business assets, such as your various PlayStation machines. If you were to liquidate those, the value would be $1,500.
Sure. If I were to liquidate them today, estimating, a ballpark value like a, garage sale or sell them immediately, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Most of the stuff there, like the computer, is very old.
Counterpoint. A PlayStation 4 is worth $200. DSP's PlayStation 4 is worth more. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I don't even follow DSP, and I'd pay $400 for DSP's PlayStation 4. Right? And I bet that thing would go for $1,000 easy. I bet that thing would go for $1,000, no problem whatsoever. I don't think these are worth anywhere near market value. Could you, if you could scrape out the nasty stains off the Vita, it'd probably be worth more. Oh, jeez. Didn't mention a cell phone, by the way. No, he plays mobile games. He doesn't have a cell phone, personal or business. That's not listed in his assets. Just so you guys know, I have a Pixel 4 XL. That is my here you go. That's mine. So the value of my business cell phone asset is like what, $700, $600? What's Phil's cell phone? Didn't even ask. That can be a pretty big part of it. Especially if a lot of your job is on social media. I spend a ton of time on my phone, so don't buy a cheap phone. Okay, so let's go on.
It's over 6 years old.
And the only business you have is Brunel Productions?
Old. Most of the stuff there, like the computer, is very old. It's over 6 years old.
And the only business you have is Brunel Productions?
That is correct.
Just hear random profanity in the background. It's great.
how much do you make on a monthly basis from YouTube?
From YouTube, that varies greatly. It could be as low as, I think the lowest month,
You're breaking
maybe
up.
$500, but it could be very high as well, depending on the time of year, because YouTube ad revenue fluctuates. It could be as high as, over $1,000. So really, I would have to crunch some numbers to give you an average.
Nope. You just have to pull up your AdSense. Just pull up your AdSense and they'll give you the 6 most recent payments. It's really simple. It's not that hard at all. You can just see your payout history for the past 6 months. Same with Twitch. Really, it's 3 clicks on your 6-year-old computer.
You broke up there a bit. My understanding is your testimony is between $500 and $1,000 a month, depending on the month.
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds about correct for an average, yes.
That sounds about correct for an average. What's the average this past 6 months? Is he averaging the past 5 years? I mean, who knows? We have no idea. Myth or Nemeth says, good Lord, Phil seems to be the living embodiment of the everything is fine meme. He also seems utterly oblivious to the amount of doo-doo he is buried in. Were he not so disgusting, I'd pity him. You know what? I don't think his lawyer knows. I think his lawyer knows now, but I don't think his lawyer necessarily knew going in what she was dealing with. I really don't. These answers should have been better planned than this. But I mean, they're going to have to justify his income. They had to know they're going to get questions about his income, and he has no idea what his monthly income is from YouTube. What about from all sources? Oh, anyway.
Okay. How about Twitch? How much do you make a month from Twitch?
I would average, let's just say between 3,000. It could be a little higher or a little lower, but that's average.
About 3,000.
Yeah.
What did he list for his business income per month? Let's see. Hold on, I'm going to find it real quick. So his total income is $5,077.92. Let's get down to where he gets that. I'll pull it up. So you guys heard him, okay? This is my theory. I'm dead serious. Phil is not claiming as income his whatchamacallit. He is not claiming. I am deducing from the forms, and I'll show you. Phil is not claiming his tip money or his Patreon on his income. You just heard him. You just heard him, right? So he gets $49.92 from his non-filing spouse, right? From his wife. Okay. He lists $39.90.69 as income. That is $3,000 on Twitch plus $500 to $1,000 on YouTube. Phil is not reporting his PayPal and his Patreon account. This is bad. If they start looking into these numbers, this is a bad thing for Phil. Very, very bad. And guys, remember, he sent his 2018 taxes. He is supporting this with a W-2 that they'll be able to compare it with. Or not a W-2, a 1040 that they'll be able to compare it with. With that 1040, if he's only showing this much income and they go, wait a minute. Let's look back 2 years on your PayPal accounts. Look back 3-4 years on your PayPal accounts. How long have you had these things? Are you reporting this money? I don't think he is. I don't know. She hasn't asked him how much he makes on those yet. Let's take a list. David Davidson says, did his lawyer not tell him to keep his answers to 3 words or less? Doesn't sound like she... Look, to his lawyer's credit, Phil gave her like $1,200 or whatever on a payment plan that finishes in June. So a 3-month payment plan for $1,200. And do you think he got a lot of advice on this? She's talking about how she has 6 months of PayPal invoices. You have a lawyer read through 6 months of PayPal transactions for someone like Phil, even someone like me. And my PayPal stuff is basically Teespring and the Justice Chats, and then Twitch. That's it. It's not a lot. I mean, it's not. YouTube does all the super chat stuff goes through AdSense, and so that's a separate system. My PayPal is not the main source of things, and then I do business expenses through PayPal, like paying my artist and stuff like that. That is an absolute nightmare to go through because you get a bunch of $2 donations, you get a bunch of foreign donations that are converted over to different stuff. I mean, that is a nightmare. You're talking about if she read through 6 months of those donations, if she reviewed those documents, that's $1,200, no problem. Because it's just, if she's cheap, that's just 6 hours of work. That's an hour a month. That's not much. This is, ooh. No, she didn't give me any advice. It's not really to her detriment. She didn't expect this, I don't think, at all.
3 to 4. 3 to 4.
Wait, sorry, I gotta go back and...
About 3,000.
Yeah. 3 to 4. 3 to 4.
Uh-oh! No! Phil! Why? 3 to 4. Oh no! You just increased your monthly income above what you reported. You reported $39.90 and you just said 3 to 4 plus 500 to $1,000 on YouTube. It's only
About Streamlabs.
Streamlabs, that's a program that I used to stream, but I don't make revenue from that.
Wait a minute, Phil. Phil? Are you lying, brother? He might not be. He might not be. But Streamlabs absolutely has a revenue stream attached. When you do a justice chat to me, for example, it might go through PayPal. It might actually just do the credit card processing through Streamlabs. It depends on how you do it. And it's 2 different revenue streams. It's 2 separate things. I don't even know how to disable one or the other. I don't know if you can. Phil, are you lying?
How much do you make each month from Patreon?
At this point, I would say about between $300 and $400.
Yeah, it's $377 right now. That's a fairly accurate answer. Fallout Bose 34 says, of course, his tax guy told him that. Unfortunately, DSP is his own tax guy. God, what a moron and soon to be jailbird. Oh boy. What if he's not lying and has a bunch of money in Streamlabs that he doesn't know about? Funniest outcome. Absolute funniest outcome possible. And it should all be given to the creditors.
About Teespring.
Teespring, that is the t-shirt company. I make very little.
Doesn't matter.
Maybe at most $100 a month, but usually it's much less than that.
Did you list that as income, Phil?
You provided to me, looks like summaries might be considered a profit and loss. It talks about net profit / loss calculations. You have various columns here. I just want a little bit of explanation. Obviously, the first one is self-explanatory. You have the month. The next column, you list profit/income gross. What is that?
Profit income gross, that would be before any kind of expenses were taken out of it. It's just the gross income for that month.
Do you mean where does the income come from, like the different?
Well, I think you'll understand as we go on, so I understand this. Then you say expenses total, and then you say, and in a separate column, you have just business expenses. What's the difference between those two, and how do you calculate them?
I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I believe what you're referencing is that. Is it right in front of you?
Yeah.
So I believe I broke it down so that in one case it would be all the money that I make, the gross profit minus the business expenses. Then the other case was showing in regards to all of my personal debts, including the payments that I was making on things like credit cards and things like that. I think from the top of my head, I think that's what you're speaking of.
From the top of your head, you just said your lawyer has it right in front of you. Look at it.
So when I did the Beans test, I only used the business figures, and then the personal would be what's on the INJ or the J, like
Schedule J.
regular living expenses.
Okay. What do you consider a business expense?
Good question.
Anything relating, to the business per the instruction of my tax attorney. So it could be, the cost of a video game, the cost of a subscription for a video game, a microtransaction within a video game, the cost of a piece of new.
Uh-oh! A microtransaction, you say, sir? Please explain what a microtransaction is within a video game. Have you purchased any microtransactions? How many microtransactions have you purchased? Did you make all of them while on stream? How is your business benefiting from the purchase of these microtransactions, sir?
Equipment, maintenance on set equipment every month. It could be the internet, cost of internet every month. It could be cost of utilities necessary for the business.
Charging your internet as a business expense is a difficult thing to do because there's another person in your house. Do you have a dedicated internet line just for your business? Because if you don't, you basically can't do that. That's like saying you have a business phone, but it's your personal phone line. But then you get calls from like your mom all the time.
Business, cost of cell phone for the business. All those things would be included.
Okay, he actually does that. Okay, good. Attaboy. At least he's doing that right. Hopefully he only counts one as a business expense.
No, just stop. Go ahead.
And basically anything related to my internet content creation, including, like I said, cost of video games, cost of subscription-based services, microtransactions within video games, cost of internet.
Keep going. We'll try to ignore the beeping.
Sorry?
I just said keep going, and we'll try and ignore that beeping sound.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm hitting upon most of it. Basically anything that is related to me creating content on the internet, whether it's the on-demand videos or the live streaming. And, there's many factors, including not only the cost of the video games, but the internet and microtransactions and all kinds of things that happen within, the realm of gaming.
This trustee is gonna ask for justification of more business expenses than you have income. That's the thing here. You've listed more in monthly business expenses than you have in a fairly sizable above median American income. I think median income is 56 grand for a family, something like that, and he's showing about 60K. But you have business expenses that are $62,000 a year. Video games? Buying 1,000 video games a year, Phil? 1,000 AAA games a year? What are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, to be fair, that's every version of Skyrim, but most people don't do that.
Okay. you currently married?
Yes.
Your wife joining in this petition?
No.
Do you have any assets that are not listed on these documents?
No.
Lie. It's 100% bullshit.
Yeah.
It's a pretty recent marriage, so these debts were basically separate.
Didn't ask about your debts. Asked about your assets. You have a fridge, washer, and dryer. Said listed $3,000 in home furnishings, but no electronics because they lumped them all together. You got a washer. You got a $400,000 condo. You telling me you have a $200 washer and dryer? Doubt it. $400,000 condo that you bought in the past couple years probably has a $500 to $700+ washer dryer in it. If it doesn't, what are you doing? Do you have a fridge? Do you have a deep freeze? Do you have a mini fridge? What do you got? What you got, Phil? You got a wine cooler in there, buddy? What do you have? There are do you have a couch? You got a couch? How much is your couch? Guys, how much is y'all's couch? You go to Target, a couch is $400. You buy any level of nice couch and you knocked out a third of those assets already.
Pretty recent as to when were you married?
The best thing is if you auctioned off the DSP couch, someone could make a clone of DSP. It would only take a little bit of years in a Chinese lab and maybe one more Wu flu outbreak, and we'd have another DSP right there.
April of 2019.
Oh, come on.
Okay, I have no further questions. Are there creditors on the line?
Hello?
Yes, are you a creditor?
No, sorry, that was me. You cut out, so I just wanted to make sure you were still there.
Okay, are there any creditors on the line? Okay, your name, please? Oh, your last name? And you're with Citibank?
Why can't we hear this guy?
Do you have questions you want to ask, Mr. Burnell?
Did you realize you needed to file this case?
We filed.
Well, no, that's when did you realize you needed to file? I think is what you asked.
So be a little bit earlier. I was considering that.
In October.
Right. So, okay.
Oh, son of a bitch. So this is the guy? Is there an alternative source to this? The one I have is from DSP Tries It, Memology 101. But is there an alternative source with this guy's audio? He just censored his name? Okay, we'll do it.
I would say middle of 2019 was basically, when I realized there was no way that I was going to be able to handle, what was going on financially in my life anymore. There was no way to get out of it.
If there's creditors on the line who have unmuted their phone, please mute until you're ready to speak. Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Alex.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? You cut out. Yes, for a few more months. And as my bankruptcy attorney just stated, we filed in October. And so...
No, we met in October.
Oh, no, that's right. When did we file?
We filed in January.
In January. We met in October. And upon the initial discussion with my bankruptcy attorney, I was told at that point, completely discontinue use of all, lines of credit. And I did. But I would say probably up until that discussion with my bankruptcy attorney in October of 2019, I was.
Yeah, let me see if I've got a different version of this. Just a moment. Let's see. Hold on. I think it's on Kiwi Farms. I have a link. Okay, so I'll go back to 30 minutes in. We'll try this one out. See if this works.
Okay, I have no further questions. Are there creditors on the line?
Hello?
Yes, are you a creditor?
No, sorry, that was me. You cut out, so I just wanted to
Let me see if I got
make
this.
sure
Guy.
you were still there.
Okay, are there any creditors on the line? Okay, your name, please?
Okay, this one's muted too. People are saying keep going. So we'll keep trucking on. We'll keep trucking on this one. The sound comes later on. Patience, Nick. I don't want patience. I want to know the questions, Keck. Answer the questions, Phil.
Still, actively using lines of credit.
There's
And
only
making
one
payments
version.
towards the credit.
Okay, and do you still have any purchases from those lines of credit in your possession, or did you sell?
Son of a bitch. It was literally the next second. Hold on, we'll go back.
In October of 2019, I was still, actively using lines of credit and making payments towards the credit.
Okay, and do you still have any purchases from those lines of credit in your possession, or did you sell them, or where's that property now?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? You cut out yet again.
Sure. The purchase that you made with your credit lines following your realization that you were insolvent, do you still have those purchases?
It's cutting out, but keep going. The purchases that were made with the credit line.
Yes, the purchases that he made with the credit line after realizing he was insolvent, does he still have that property in his possession?
Most of the purchases that I would have made with any kind of lines of credit would have been things such as groceries, that kind of stuff. It's not like I was buying anything significant for personal property or anything like that. Now, if you have specific questions about, prep purchases, obviously I could talk with you behind the scenes about that. I don't know specifically what you're referencing, but
No, you don't get to talk behind the scenes. You're answering questions under oath.
I did not make, if you're, trying to basically say that I bought a bunch of stuff and I still have it, it only would have been business-related stuff or necessities like grocery shopping and things like that, to my knowledge.
Okay. And the other question I would have then is if it was business-related stuff, I heard you mention that you had a lot of equipment, PS4s, things like that. You're saying that you owned these prior to realizing that you were insolvent, correct?
When we think about that, I would say yes. That's correct.
Okay. And
Yes.
And other business expenses like purchasing games for your streaming content company. You purchase these games also with. Let me just reword that. Have you purchased any games since October?
Since October, yes.
On credit lines, are you specifically referring to? Or
Yes, on credit lines. Well, I'm trying to establish where insolvency was realized so that we can sort of come to an understanding that any purchases made on credit post-insolvency wouldn't be dischargeable.
I don't know. There's no way this guy's getting his debt discharged. If that happens, this country is unjust. But either way, that's a funny question. That's a funny question. Some dude says one more time, then I promise I'll leave it alone. If you're in Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Arizona, no, Arkansas, not Arizona, damn it. Michigan, Indiana, and need work from a home job, email me at the email I spam in chat. No scam, despite some justified suspicion in the chat. We need people. So there you go. It's not a scam, bros. Actually, I have no idea. That's up to you guys. Look, if you're looking for work, it might not be the worst thing to check out the email, but I don't know. I don't know anything about it. So.
Yeah, no, I did not make any purchases on credit after my initial conversation with my bankruptcy attorney in October.
Really? Really? He said I did not make any purchases on credit after my initial discussion with my bankruptcy attorney in October, under oath. Okay.
Okay, and sure. Another thing too. So you made all these purchases for these equipment systems. I'm assuming that's the bulk of your business expenses, as far as having to buy the equipment, having to buy the games, things like that. Reviewing your filing, it looks like you stated here that you have about $5,000 a month in business expenses. Can you itemize that for me?
Good question.
Legit. Right. I don't think he's real.
I don't know if he's real. I don't either. Interestingly, the court didn't really ask. You are being asked this question under oath. Now, if the person is misrepresenting themselves as a creditor, you are risking the wrath of the court, although it doesn't look like the court cares too much in the time of Corona to verify who they're talking to. Now, they did ostensibly get a name. Says they're from Citibank. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. We have no idea. But I don't know if he's legit. Why are you saying that now? Because someone from Citibank, this is the most reasonable question ever. I know you guys are saying he bought the debt. I don't know that to be true. I'm not sure you know that to be true either. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's true. For Phil's purposes now, he's answering the questions under oath. That's going to be interesting. Richard G says, hey, Rackets, would the video of DSP's fundraiser for taxes and bills be investigated or be a problem for him? Also, would you recommend any good books to read to pass the time while Corona-chan does work? You know me, man, 40K books are great. I love them all. You could start with the Horus Heresy. That'll keep you very busy. Otherwise, Ender's Game series and Ender's Shadow series, more importantly, in my opinion, are great. And there are 3. I'm going to give you 5 more books, but it's 2 series to read. David Gemmell has a 3-part series. The first one is Lord of the Silver Bow. Second is Shield of Thunder. And third is Sword of Kings. Fantastic retelling of the Iliad in a modern, unbiased sort of way. Great books. And then Ilium and Olympus are sci-fi masterpieces. That's what I got for you. Those are fantastic books. Someone says Weebo. Those are not Weeby books at all. They're great. All of those would be fantastic reads. And if you want something a little more mainstream, read The Martian. Don't watch the Matt Damon movie. Just read it. Okay, here we go. Back to this.
Nancy, I'm not sure this person is for Citibank.
I'm sorry, excuse me?
I'm not sure. Are you?
I'm calling
really
I'm calling representing Citibank. Yes, Citibank. What are you talking about?
Right. Are you an attorney or what's your position at Citibank? Or this doesn't seem.
This seems like a sort of an attempt to back out of answering the very transparent question reviewing these files, which is that he has $5,000 a month in business expenses, which does not make any sense.
And collections at Citibank appear on a case, so this seems a little strange. We'll answer the questions, but
okay,
it's just
great.
Yeah, good.
I mean, we've been answering the questions.
Bad attorney. If you think this is not a guy who's legit, Do not say we'll answer the question until the trustee or judge tells you to answer the damn question. Why would you concede this? We'll answer the questions. We're lodging a, we're very suspicious about this person, but we'll answer the questions. Why would you? We're not going to answer these questions. Make him verify himself. Oh my God. What a shit move that was. Phil, reprimand your attorney. You're paying her eventually.
Hold on just a second. Where are you seeing $5,000 a month on business expenses?
Are you reading the file, woman?
He's listed over $5,000 a month on expenses, so he's got $5,000 a month in income, $5,000 a month in expenses, and basically the gross income that he's claiming that he's making is $35.
Okay, so
Wait,
you look
I'm
at
sorry.
INJ.
I'm referring to his initial bankruptcy filing.
Okay.
Yes.
So where are the $5,000 a month in business expenses?
I think
I've already explained.
Let me back up a minute, because I think you might be looking at it a little bit wrong.
What?
And maybe if I could give you a little bit of clarification as to the way these forms are intended to be used, that might answer something, and then you can ask your question again.
Sure.
Schedule J asks him to list out various expenses he has. This is a personal bankruptcy. And so he's listed things like rent and food and utilities and clothing, things like that. As I'm seeing the schedule, that totals up to be about $5,000, a little bit, excuse me, a little bit more than that. Is that the number that you're referring to as business expenses?
Yes, if that's claimed as personal expenses instead, I would still like to get an idea of how exactly he itemizes that. Because the amount of income that I'm seeing, he's claiming that it varies, but the time that he filed, it just happened to be during a very high spike in expenses, which doesn't really make any sense to me.
Okay, let's review this real quick, because I have it pulled up here. So here are his listed expenses, and then he comes out to $5,112.99. So let's get the calculator out and see. We've got $1,830 plus $360 plus $150 plus $25 plus $600 plus $100 plus $100 plus $100 plus $100 plus $307.99 plus $200 plus $500 for the back tax payment plus $380 plus $160. Okay, so here we go. Here's this. Why did it list as business expenses somewhere else? 100 plus 100. Okay, so that is personal expenses that are listed. Yeah, I thought that was listed as business expenses somewhere else. So he's showing negative 35.07. Hold on. Let's see. So is he just listing that all as personal expenses? Why did everybody, including me, think that that was business expenses? Just a second. Let's see. Oh, okay. Hold on. So he's got his gross income. Got his itemized list. Do I not have these right here? Lord Weebly, thank you for the message retracted. There should be a business expense part of the bankruptcy form. I'm looking for the attachment. Hold on one second. It's not on this one. I know I've seen business expenses that were absolutely exorbitant. Monthly income and expenses statement.pdf. Just a second. Hold on, I'm looking for the exact thing here. Because I remember reading, there's this voluntary petition. There's this amendment. I mean, I see this monthly income and expenses on the Schedule J. I swear he had like the itemized list. Where is that thing? Because I think it was on there that he lists a bunch of expenses. Well, is it not in this filing? I have seen this document where he has the columns that she was talking about. Maybe it's in the... This is great TV, guys, where I don't have the document that I think I have. Perfect. Oh, it's there. That's not it. "30 pages. And it's 50 pages. Okay, here's the full petition. I don't know why I didn't have this up before. My bad. Just a moment. I didn't have the petition with the attachments. For some reason, I only had a 13-page version of it. Maybe I just had the amendment up. All right, almost there. Where is it? This says 50 pages. No, this one says 50 pages too. I've seen this document. JCF Data, can you DM it to me on Discord? Do you have it available? 122A1. From the statement of your current monthly income, copy your total currently monthly income from official form 122A1, line 11. I don't have this one. For some reason, and I know I've seen this document because I think I went through it with Null. Okay, this is terrible. This is okay. Yeah, boomer check. That is true. That is true. I'm not seeing the document 122A1. Anyway, we'll go back to it. Maybe I can find it afterwards. Second. Feel like an airline pilot. Hold on, let me get back to my window. I'll find it at the end. We're almost through the call here. So, here we go.
Okay, do you have the schedule?
What?
Who is this?
As long as we've established that he's realized that he was insolvent in October, that's really all I needed. So it's fine.
I mean, I don't want to cut your questions off. I'm just trying to make sure that you're understanding the forms the way they're intended.
Right, I understand. He's claiming that he's got $5,000 a month in expenses and only $5,000 a month in income, and net's about $35, which still doesn't really make any sense to me when he's claiming that he gets $1,000 from YouTube $4,000 from Twitch. That's $5,000 right there. But then he's also claiming that he gets these donations or tips or whatever it is through his stream itself, which is separate from the service paying him for streaming.
I understand your question. Do you have a further explanation, Mr. Burnell?
I've already broken down how my expenses work. I don't know what this gentleman is referencing specifically. All the information is there, so I don't know exactly what he's looking for. I don't understand. I don't understand.
I'm just asking you to explain your expenses.
Which we've done.
So why are you asking again?
I do not see anywhere that adds up to $5,000 of expenses monthly. Or that warrants paying extra money for video games and things post-October when you realize that you were insolvent.
Right, but what you're talking about is strictly related to Citibank purchases. If I'm understanding this correctly, you're wondering if there were any purchases after October on the Citibank cards, but you have access
I'm
to
asking
those
about
statements.
any cards, any lines of credit. I'm trying to figure out when he realized he was insolvent, if he continued making credit purchases after that time.
And he's already stated that he is not.
Okay, as long as that's on the record, great. Thank you.
That was on the record, yes,
Thank you.
earlier.
Yeah, that's what he
Do you
said.
have any other questions?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Are there other creditors on the phone who want to ask questions? Now would be the time to unmute and ask a question and identify yourself. If there are no further people on the phone who are going to ask questions or identify themselves, I have no further questions. Got someone jumping in? Okay.
Why am I poisoned? Why am I toxic?
Ms. Sheffield, do you have the identification information with you?
I do. I'm looking at a Washington State driver's license, which is correct, and I'm also looking at a Social Security card, and the number matches that on the petition.
Okay, there appears to be no further creditors who are asking questions. I have no further questions. You are excused, and you may hang up. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was easy.
Situation.
The leader has disconnected.
Okay. All right. I'm looking through the other documents. 1 second here. So that's the call, guys. That's the call. He has definitely some issues here. He's showing. Here's what we're talking about. Okay. This is what the guy should have pressed on. Here's the 122A. Sorry I couldn't find this on the fly. I thought I had it in my folder, but I don't. Here we go. So we've got, this is the problem. He's saying gross receipts and then ordinary and necessary operating expenses of $5,243.84 a month. This is the problem. And the guy should have pressed on this if this is what he was looking to get the answer out of. And he draws that number from here, which is this itemized thing that the trustee even asked about. He has income and then expenses here, but these expenses are not personal expenses. These are business expenses, which is he's using to justify his income. And he's also throwing in a negative. Jesus Christ. What was that? Do I still have this thing up? That was awful. He still has he has a negative $900 month in with these $4,000 and $5,000 net months to bring his total down pretty effectively here. This is the real question. What are these business expenses? And the guy asked a legitimate question. He just didn't clarify that that's what this was. So his lawyer did a pretty effective job at deflecting this question, to be brutally honest. We don't have the answer to this. Here's 8 to 10 grand in income with business expenses totaling this much. In October, he finds out he's insolvent. What are these? What are these costs for his business. Yeah, that does make me cast some doubt on the legitimacy of the Citibank caller. Now, I've heard that he says that he purchased the debt of DSP. Look, if you purchase the debt of Citibank, for example, to ask questions, and then you represent yourself as a representative of Citibank, that guy may have just lied under oath. No, correction, did just lie under oath and commit perjury. Very, very dangerous thing to do. Not recommended at all. If he is a bona fide purchaser of the debt, he should have said, I am so-and-so. I am a bona fide purchaser of the debt. I acquired it from Citibank or whoever he acquired it from on this date. So I am the holder of that debt. I can provide papers to the court if it's required. And here we go. I now have questions about this as a creditor. I want to know about these expenses. He really should have laid out that he was referring to this document right here, which is the official form 122A1, in which he shows this growth or this net business income of $39,9069 after ordinary and necessary operating expenses of $5,243.84. Guys, that's a lot of operating expenses. That is an absolute ton of them. And there is no way a guy masturbating on his couch in front of a camera is racking up $5,200 a month in ordinary and necessary operating expenses. You have equipment acquisition, you have equipment maintenance, which is basically $0. Your monthly operating expenses over a year for equipment maintenance is what? A can of dust spray? It's basically $0. Okay? What? Okay, so we say he's got a dedicated internet line. Will you be generous and say that's $200 a month? If he lives out in the country and uses a satellite, maybe, but what are the other $4,800? He's not buying new equipment every month. He's not acquiring $5,000 worth of video games every month. So we've got a real question here. And unfortunately, the caller who potentially risked a perjury charge, if he used his real name, if he was identifiable, probably not, if I had to guess, but potentially risks a perjury charge to ask these questions, bungled asking them pretty heavily. Should have gone ahead and pressed on Form 122A1. He lists $5,000 in operating expenses, not in personal expenses. And he wasn't sworn in. Yeah, it doesn't. He may have been. Well, no, I guess he probably wasn't. But that'd still be a hard thing. You're misrepresenting to the court who you are. That's a no-no. No-no-chan. But there's that. We did have an opportunity to hear this question. How do you justify this? Now, the trustee, because of what he asked, might go back and look at it. The trustee may do that. We have no idea what the trustee will do in that case. But if they go back and look at this profit and loss statement, which they were, right? She says it looks like a summary profit and loss statement here. And she talked about the different columns, and Phil talked about the different columns. Then maybe they'll get something out of it. I don't know. We'll have to see. But interestingly, it sounds like his actual creditors didn't show up, which just goes to show you how powerful of a tool bankruptcy is. It sounds like not a lot of creditors were interested in dealing with the case. So it's a mess. It's a mess. Well, guys, that's the call. That's the documents. I'm going to go ahead and read the super chats and justice chats and everything and answer questions from those. And then we will probably wrap up the stream by the end of it. So, Stephen Ellis, if you think that wasn't a I mean, it wasn't a meeting. Phil's under oath, but misrepresenting yourself at one of those meetings, I would strongly wager that is not advisable, and you could get in. You could be held in contempt. That is an official proceeding. That is a statutory official proceeding. Let's not pretend that what the guy did, if he's lying or misrepresenting who he is to a bankruptcy trustee in an official proceeding, he is lying to the court. It's in a court record now. Don't minimize that. That is a shit thing to do. Unadvisable, likely illegal. Will they prosecute? Probably no. And they probably can't identify the person who did it. But you done fucked up. You done fucked up. You shouldn't do that. And you fucked up the questioning. So, real shame. Kay says, most of everywhere is closed in the good old state of Florida, but thankfully they realized just what the most essential businesses are, liquor stores. Now I'm drinking the cheapest, most bottom shelf bourbon I could find. Benchmark, $11 for 750 milliliters. That sounds atrocious. Hats off to you. I got to go to my liquor store tomorrow. Jasper agrees with me. Says DSP requesting tips that are not mandatory really means spend all your money on me. Gamer Hands Jr. NC says, love the way you and Nancy grill the pig roach all in the span of a whole week. Take my money to give to the missus. Also to the chat, press 1 if you think Phil is going to be tossing salad in jail in cell block P1G. Oh. Billy FU says, so he isn't paying on his tips? Didn't the IRS start bitch slapping thoughts over this? No. The thought cost from the IRS. The thought cost from the IRS would be taking place this year. There was a movement to inform the IRS of suspected tax dodgers, and that was the thought cost, right? But those would be on this year's taxes because they're informing people over 2019 income, typically speaking. DarkSydePhil says, you got it wrong. He doesn't charge his internet as a business expense. He charges his 2 internets as business expenses. Debunked. Oh no. Tay says, surprised he didn't write off his couch as a business expense. I sit on my fat ass on it all stream playing games, so obviously it's an expense. Also the cleaning bill for getting out all those funny smelling stains from required pre-stream preparation. Oh, rip. Siren Jag says, Nick, I am on the Teespring site. There's still no Rekieta Law Fez. How can we be proper throng of cultists without a Rekieta Law Fez? Hopefully with a propeller, but without is fine too. I don't think hats are weird on Teespring. Not the same as other merch. Joseph Kerwin says, read Ian Banks' The Culture series for some hard sci-fi. Good. Thyri says, thank you for explaining the tax law side of this. Phil's lubing himself up for a nice, juicy audit. He really, really could be in this. What a mess. The Frozen Gamer says, hey, Nick, just wanted to remind you about the interview request. Sent you an email and DM on Discord suggesting a day to do it. Please read and respond. Can't listen live. Have another interview to do. Yes, I saw your email and I will respond to it. Rick Nikita says, Picard is an android and Data dies twice. Eddie Spaghetti says, ack, 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 ack. Rage DMX 47 says, can we get a shout to Glow Gang? Hey, shout to Glow Gang. What up? Nick SF says, dead air. Skaki Onsai says, postponed and Catherine Tewson's husband. Ew. Why? Lightside Phil says, $40 more in tips and he will put on the vest. NGE Fan 76 is later than DSP on his bills. Rip me. Private All-Star says, why am I toxic? Tippy Tail McKitty. Nick, my Polish brother from another mother. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's happening? Yolam Taze says, it honestly feels a bit weird how I knew and used to be a fan of DSP before he became known as the guy who jerked it during a live stream. Never, not even once. Mulla Viking says, I think Phil did well and he can wear a vest for $100 a pop. Not bad for a bankrupt streamer. Phil puts on a vest for $100. There you go. Samantha Schoner says, my mom has just discovered TikTok and is now spamming me with random video links. Frowny face. I hope the quarantine ends soon. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's always sad when you find out what your parents actually find funny. Mullah Viking says, looking at this objectively through Mr. Rekieta, don't you think some of Phil's fans are a little bit intense? Oh yeah, that's the internet. That's the internet. I see them going off in your chat and being very obsessed with the guy. Look, fans are fans, man. And they span the gamut of being just casual to hardcore. That's the nature of entertainment. Nick SF says the beeps are a lie detector. Alexandro says, I don't know if you know, but my client is semi-famous. He's a streamer on Twitch. Is that really him? It's the guy I'm watching his Twitch. Richie W says, this is infuriating. George says, DSP is going Carol Baskin on his debt. Sketchosaur Rex says, have some of my birthday money for entertaining me. Hey, thank you. Happy birthday. Patriotic Cat says, DSP, I'm kind of a big deal, lady. I'm kind of a big deal, lady. There you go. Cloakstorm says, you should tip me, eh? You should tip me, eh? Say Brav says, this is for charity. Matt Schrodinger says, here, have a tip. Totally gift and not taxable. Rip Dove Studio says, charity. Chaircoon, that one's for you. Sweet Prince. Rafflecopter 726 says, here's a non-taxable tip, dude. Yellow Flash 2 says, this debt call had bugged creditor mechanics. That's actually, it did. It did. D. Majir says, here's a $5. Now don't tell Uncle Sam. George says, he's a silver tongue talker. He's good at lying. United States of Phil. It's his land. Not a place to climb on your soapbox and use logic. Orgasmic Whale says, this is a personal gift from me to you, not a tip, therefore not subject to taxation, which is theft. Vote your libertarian in 2020. Thanks, buddy. Bad Dragonite says, bets on tax attorney being random dude in basement. Lane 20 says, is this Twitch? $2. Lane 20 says, I think I've contracted COVID-19 listening to DSP. Keck7Go says, I can be good at layering if I want to. Snort is getting gross to do. Play the video I sent. It's amazing. Phil talks of buying a car. How long is it? Maybe at the end. Rispergu says, you're a detractor lawyer. I'm not neutral. Don't care if Phil wins or loses. It's just a dumpster I like watching. 113657 says, this is so much better than expected. In your opinion, how effed is DSP? Also, I designate the super chat as a gift. You're welcome. How effed is DSP? It depends on how bored his bankruptcy trustee is and how much she wants to look at this case. On one hand, she said, I want 6 months of PayPal, both of them. She's already indicated that there are red flags and she'll be taking a look at this beyond what's on the paperwork that's presented. She wants more info. Why does she want more info? What's she going to do when she sees what that income is on those 2 PayPal accounts? I would have asked for 2 years rather than 6 months, but she probably doesn't want to work that hard. But those are going to raise questions. Clearly. Where's all this money going? Steve Shitty says, buys everything in cash, claim you got it all at flea markets for $20. F the Federalist pigs and their jackbooted enforcers. I'm with you, buddy. F them. Keck7Go says, are you saying DSP never cleaned his couch after diddling himself in front of children live? Dude, wow. I don't know what he did with his couch. I wonder if he listed it as his business expense, whisking the couch. Gillian Seed says, it's DSP, he'll win. Could be true. Chemtrail Mix says, when is the DMD stream with Gem & Co? Love ya. That's tomorrow at 4 p.m. I will tweet out the link when I have the link to the actual stream. I believe it's on Bibble's channel. I don't know if he's got a Twitch or if it's on D Live. I'm not sure. Or YouTube. I don't know which one it'll be on, but I will tweet it out so you can watch my Twitter account. Changus Khan says, I would have passed on the thousands of microtransactions he spent on WWE Champions Gotcha game. That would be a mature decision to not do, or pressed. Oh yeah. Yeah. We've gotten some reports about a game called WWE Champions. Can you explain that game? You mentioned microtransactions earlier. About how much per month do you spend on microtransactions? You mentioned the WWE Network. Do you do any other entertainment? Do you engage in any other entertainment activities related to WWE? Do you engage in any business activities related to WWE? These are the questions that you would ask if you wanted to probe on that appropriately, because you'd want to lay the foundation. So you gotta go ahead and say, here's my basis in the question. Here's my basis for asking the question. You mentioned microtransactions. Can you explain what a microtransaction is? Can you explain how you pay for these microtransactions? Because your PayPal, right, goes to your bank account. So are you paying for it from a debit card? Are you paying for it from your PayPal? Is it coming out of some other account that we don't know about? Do you have a credit card that's paying for it? Because remember, he said that he didn't purchase anything on credit since October of 2019, that's a fucking lie. That's a lie straight out. I'm happy to say it. So you gotta use what he said to ask the questions that you're trying to get answers to. And again, if the caller were an attorney or experienced in doing cross-examination, he may go ahead and ask questions like this. Now, earlier you mentioned microtransactions. Can you explain what a microtransaction is? How much would you say per month that you spend on microtransactions? Have you ever purchased a microtransaction for related to wrestling? Or list the mobile games or the games in which you've used purchased microtransactions in the past 12 months, for example. Can you give me any examples of a game in which you've purchased a microtransaction? Do you count microtransactions as necessary and ordinary business expenses? How do you say, or how do you justify a microtransaction as a necessary and ordinary business expense? Now, how much have you spent in microtransactions per month? These are the questions I would be asking this way if I were an attorney representing a creditor. You have to use things that he has said. The trustee was very good in teeing up some of those questions, and that would have been how you do it. So, Crom Iron Skull says, "Hey Nick, I know you mentioned before you like the Cthulhu mythos. You should check out Cthulhu Tech. It's a tabletop RPG when the mythology is real, but humans find ways to fight back." That sounds cool. RW Bimby says, "Pro streamer uses low-value 6-year-old potato PC." I guess. Spectre06 Gaming says, "Just here for the hashtag Thought Audit 2020. Raging Majority says, "Nick, can you report your whiskey as a business expense since you drink it on stream?" I could maybe do it, but I drink whiskey off stream too, and I don't itemize the shots. Now, I drink, the overwhelming majority of drinking that I do is on stream, but I don't itemize it. And sometimes Lady Rackets will have a drink. Sometimes we'll have friends over, and I'll share whiskey with friends always, because whiskey is made to be shared with friends. So I can't, I don't. You could do it, but you'd have to be pretty careful and catalog it. Rogue says, "Nick, your drunken grift powers gave me the power to win my first solos during the stream. Take my grift money, you boomer." I don't know what that means. Rogue says, "In Fortnite." Oh, cool. Carl Eusebius says, "Scale of 1 to 10, bad. How bad did this call go for DSP?" I give it about a 7. It could have gone worse, but it really is going to depend on how much the trustee themselves dig into it, or if the creditors become more aware. They didn't even care. They didn't show up. They didn't even send someone to a phone call. That's crazy. Blaine 20 says, "This case may shake Twitch streamers at the core." Sunspot Gallery says, "What's Phil's best option right now?" His best option would be to revise his filings and tell the truth. There's no way he's going to do it. No way he's going to do it. Rip Dove Studio says, "I sent you a video of DSP buying a car. It's great." And then we've got just a couple more. Kay says, after hearing that his creditors aren't even on this call, I am now pretty certain he's going to get away with these awful filings. He truly is the roach of the internet, able to somehow sneak out of every single bad thing that happens to him. A Chinese cat says, achoo, cough, cough. Hopefully DSP learns his lesson. Shout out to LSB, Rocco, the Puggle, and the chat here. And AN1337 says, all right, see you later, Derek. Thanks for stopping by, man. Hope you have a good night. Free my boy, Tevin. Keck and Scream. Ah! Tevin, man, if you're interested in talking about DSP, because I hear you're the guy. And if you happen to see this, I'd love to talk to you about it. I don't know much about him. So if you want to come on, you're welcome to. DSP, of course, is welcome to come on and talk about this stuff. And I would love to interview either of them. That would be certainly very interesting. That'd be great. Just let me know. Asmodeus says the work from home thing is legit, by the way. What work from home thing? I mean, I work from home. It's great. Are you saying just working from home in general? Because I agree. All right, guys, I'm not going to do Rip Dove. I'm not going to do that DSP buying a car video tonight. I'll review it and maybe do a short video on it. This one, I want to kind of keep reacting to the bankruptcy call itself. I got to listen to that video before I just go ahead and throw it up there. I will do that. But for tonight, I think we should wrap up. It's almost 1:30. I don't normally stream on Saturdays, but Corona Chan and Phil have changed that. So thank you all for participating and hanging out on this chat tonight. I really appreciate it. Bad Dragonite says, were the lines too crowded for creditors? No, they could have gotten in. If you want to come watch me try and be better than DSP at Doom Eternal, I will be on Twitch tonight in just a couple minutes. Twitch TV/Rekieta Law. And no donations are required. If you have further questions about the DSP stuff but did not want to donate here, you can go on Twitch and just ask me there. If I see it, it's a much looser format because there are typically a lot less people in the chat, and I try to answer questions when I can. So if you want to, you can pop over there if you have some other questions about this. But let's wrap up this stream with an outro. Let me bring the volume to a reasonable level for that. Here's the outro music. That means the stream is done, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. If you're not a regular viewer of this channel, we cover all sorts of cases similar to Phil. And sometimes we just shit on people. And other times we talked about fun stuff. So, well, this is fun too. But we talk about unrelated fun stuff to DSP. And so come hang out for live streams. Plus, we have best chat. Best chat. So, thanks, guys. Hope you have a good night. Peace. Peace.
From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a Balmore, a Lafroig. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear Lost Blaming tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the thought better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed